I was only 4 or 5 years old when my parents separated. My mom moved us into a small two-bedroom apartment. Technically, I had my own room, but I almost always slept in her bed. Her room was across the hallway from mine, and from her bed, you could see straight into my doorway. It was summer, and the nights were hot. My mom kept the window above her bed cracked open for air. One night, I woke up to a strange sight. Our cat was sitting in the doorway, frozen, staring at something. That was unusual. He almost always curled up in bed with us. I watched as he slowly padded into my bedroom and let out a sharp meow. I turned to wake my mom, tugging at her arm. It couldn't have been more than 3 or 4 seconds. But when we looked back at the doorway, the cat was gone. And standing there instead was a man. He was just there, silent, a shadow in the frame, stepping out of my room. I don't know how my mom reacted so quickly. One second she was in bed, the next she had scooped me up and hurled me out the window into the night air. She climbed out right behind me. We both screamed until neighbors called 911. When the police arrived, they found no signs of forced entry, just the front door, unlocked. But my mom swore she had locked it deadbolt and chain. A week later, while cleaning, my mom opened the water heater closet and froze. Inside was a notebook stuffed with drawings, names scrawled over the pages, along with a pair of gloves and gum wrappers. The police said what we were both terrified to hear. The man hadn't he broken in that night. He had been inside the apartment already, hiding, waiting for us to fall asleep. Years passed. I grew older, but I never forgot. Sometimes at night, when the house was quiet, I thought about the man standing in the dark, watching. One evening, years later, I was in the basement doing laundry. The basement was divided one side with the washer and dryer, the other side open, dark and cold. The only light on that far side suddenly blew out, leaving it in complete shadow. I told myself it was nothing. Just a bulb. I finished folding the laundry, but when it came time to cross the basement, dread sank into my stomach. Still, I walked. Halfway through, the silence broke. I heard it. A laugh. Not a normal laugh. It was deep and cracked, a horrible cackle that scraped like broken glass. Imagine a witch's laugh, but lower, ruined by years of smoke. It came from right behind me. I didn't turn around. I ran up the stairs 2 at a time, slammed the door, and pressed my back against it, gasping for air. The next day, the bulb was replaced, and the basement was bright again. But that laugh, that sound, I've never told anyone in the house about it. Sometimes I wonder if the laugh and the man were connected, if he ever really left. Maybe he wasn't just hiding in that apartment. Maybe he's been hiding in the dark corners of every place I've lived, just waiting for me to fall asleep again. It all started when a strange family moved in next door. Their son was 19, but something about him was deeply wrong. Worst of all, he was fixated on my 7-year-old daughter. He would stop her on her way home from school, talk to her over the fence, and even once called the house asking to speak with her. That was when I snapped. I told him and his parents to stay away, and they promised it would never happen again. After that, my daughter began saying there was something in her closet at night. She was a little imaginative, so at first we brushed it off as nothing. But her fear grew. She said the thing in her closet wasn't there during the day, only at night. She was too scared to even get up and tell us. One weekend, my wife and daughter stayed at my mother's, so I had the house to myself. I fell asleep downstairs with the TV on. At 2 a.m., the neighbor's parents called. They said their son was missing and that he had seen me walking around upstairs with the lights on. My blood went cold. I hadn't moved from the couch, and no lights were on when I fell asleep. I grabbed my shotgun and ran outside just as the sheriff pulled up. Looking up at my house, I froze. My daughter's bedroom light was on, and I saw a shadow pacing back and forth. The deputies stormed inside and found the boy crouched in her closet. He had blankets and supplies in there, like he'd been living inside waiting. He admitted he liked watching my daughter sleep. I thought the nightmare was over, but it wasn't. Weeks later, I had to drive cross country. Somewhere between Twenty Palms and Albuquerque, I took a desert shortcut. The road was empty, nothing but high grass and silence. Then I saw an old red car blocking both lanes. Clothes scattered on the ground. A man and woman lying face down in the road. It looked like an accident, but something about it felt staged. The same hair-raising feeling I had that night when I saw the shadow in my daughter's room. I slowed down, heart pounding. My instinct screamed at me to drive. I pressed the gas and swerved past the car and bodies. When I checked my rearview mirror, the bodies were moving. They sat up on their knees. And dozens of people emerged from the tall grass on both sides of the road. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that the two events were connected. First, the boy hiding in my daughter's closet, then the desert trap waiting for me in the middle of nowhere. Both had the same terrifying thought behind them: someone, or something, enjoys watching, waiting, and luring people who stop. And I still wonder what would have happened if I'd let my guard down, even for a second.